An elderly woman went into the pharmacy. When the pharmacist asked why she was there, she replied, "I'd like to have some birth control pills." Taken aback, the pharmacist thought for a minute and then said, "Excuse me, Mrs. Smith, but you're 75 years old. What possible use could you have for birth control pills?" The woman responded, "They help me sleep better." The pharmacist thought some more and continued, "How in the world do birth control pills help you to sleep?" The woman said, "I put them in my granddaughter's orange juice and I sleep better at night."
Some have counseled me to go to a long-term care home. I was not sure about this, so I decided to ask my longtime doctor. So I awaited my next visit and I asked him, "How do you determine whether or not an older person should be put in a long-term care home?" "Well," he said, "we fill up a bathtub, then we offer a teaspoon, a teacup and a bucket to the person to empty the bathtub." "Oh, I understand," I said. "A normal person would use the bucket because it is bigger than the spoon or the teacup." "No," he said. "A normal person would pull the plug. Do you want a bed near the window? Are you going to pass this on? Or do you want the bed next to mine?"
A general visits an army hospital to check on the conditions and inspire the troops. It's World War I, trench warfare is living hell, and the men could really use some inspiration. The general starts talking to the wounded soldiers. He goes up to the first man and says, "What brings you in here, son?" The soldier replies, "Sir, I got dysentery in the trenches, something awful." The general asks him, "How are they caring for you in here?" And the soldier replies, "Well, sir, every day the nurses put a cool cloth on my head and they clean my behind with a soft brush." The general asks, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" And the soldier says, "No, sir, the nurses are doing the best they can." The general seems satisfied, thanks him for his service and moves on to the next man. The general approaches the second man's bed and asks, "What brings you in here, son?" The soldier replies somewhat embarrassed, "Sir, I got gonorrhea from a woman while I was on leave." The general laughs and says, "It happens to the best of us, son. How are they caring for you in here?" And the soldier replies, "Well, sir, every day the nurses put a cool cloth on my head and they clean my privates with a soft brush." The general asks, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" And the soldier says, "No, sir, the nurses are doing the best they can." The general once again seems satisfied, thanks him for his service and moves on to the next man. The general approaches the third man's bed and asks, "What brings you in here, son?" The soldier tells him, "Sir, I got strep throat in the trenches." The general asks, "How are they caring for you in here?" And the soldier replies, "Well, sir, every day the nurses put a cool cloth on my head and they clean my throat with a soft brush." The general asks, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" "Actually, sir, there is one thing," said the soldier. "I'd like to be the first one to use the brush."
A happy 90-year-old man walked into the doctor's office. He was all smiles and laughed with the nurses and staff, until they brought him in to see the doctor. The doctor examined him and told him he should start eating better, because his health was not in that great a shape. The old man was surprised. He said to his doctor, "I've never felt better. I have an 18-year-old bride who is pregnant with my child. What do you think about that?" The doctor considered his question for a minute and then said, "I have an elderly friend who is a hunter and never misses a season. One day when he was going out in a bit of a hurry, he accidentally picked up his umbrella instead of his gun. When he got to the creek, he saw a rabbit sitting beside the stream. He raised his umbrella and went bang, bang, and the rabbit fell dead. What do you think of that?" The 90-year-old said, "I'd say somebody else killed that rabbit." The doctor smiled. "My point exactly."
First-year students at medical school were receiving their first anatomy class with a real dead human body. They all gathered around the surgery table with the body covered in a white sheet. The professor started the class by telling them, in medicine, it is necessary to have two important qualities as a doctor. The first is that you should not be disgusted by anything involving the human body. The professor pulled back the sheet, stuck his finger in the anus of the corpse, withdrew it and stuck it in his mouth. Go ahead and do the same thing, he told his students. The students initially freaked out, hesitated for several minutes, but eventually took turns sticking a finger in the anus of the corpse and sucking on it. When everyone finished, the professor looked at the class and told them, the second most important quality is observation. I stuck in my middle finger but sucked on my index finger. Now learn to pay attention. 90-year-old George went for his annual physical. All of his tests came back with normal results. Dr. Darnes said, George, everything looks great physically. How are you doing mentally and emotionally? Are you at peace with yourself, and do you have a good relationship with your God? George replied, God and me are tight. He knows I have poor eyesight, so he's fixed it so that when I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, poof. The light goes on when I pee, and then, poof. The light goes off when I'm done. Wow, commented Dr. Darnes, that's incredible. A little later in the day Dr. Darnes called George's wife. Thelma, he said, George is just fine. Physically, he's great. But I had to call because I'm in awe of his relationship with God. Is it true that he gets up during the night and, poof? The light goes on in the bathroom, and then, poof. The light goes off? Thelma exclaimed, that old fool. He's been peeing in the refrigerator again.
The other day, a gentleman went to the dentist's office to have a tooth pulled. The dentist pulls out a freezing needle to give him a shot. No way! No needles! I hate needles, the man said. The dentist starts to hook up the laughing gas and the man immediately objected. I can't do the gas thing either. The thought of having the gas mask on is suffocating me. The dentist then asks the gentleman if he has any objection to taking a pill. No objection, the man said. I'm fine with pills. The dentist then returns and says, here's a Viagra tablet. The gentleman, totally at a loss for words, said in amazement. Wow, I didn't know Viagra worked as a painkiller. It doesn't, said the dentist. But it will give you something to hold on to when I pull your tooth.
Thanks for the laughs. Subscribe for more fun. Until next time, stay tuned and stay amused.